All right, we are Group 2G, AJ, David, Marcus, and Lucas. And today we're going to be talking about the Amazon EC2. So, what is the EC2? It stands for Elastic Cloud Compute and is defined by Amazon as a web service that provides resizable compute capacity in the cloud. It is designed to make web-scale cloud computing easier for developers. So, we all know from Lab 8, cloud computing, that the EC2 is an infrastructure as a service. During that lab, we would have to SSH into the instance that we created and then go ahead and install the applications and the environment that we wanted. So also what we've learned is that Amazon has a host of other services that it provides. And a lot of them, when run, will actually spin up an instance of an EC2 as its underlying infrastructure. So that's pretty amazing. So how do we take advantage of this great technology? Well, you've all done that or will do it during Lab 8. So first, we're going to create an Amazon Web Services account. And then what we're going to do is create and launch what they call an instance. Next, you'll download your key pair that's generated. And be sure to post your secret key on GitHub or somewhere else that I can access it and spin up an instance under your account. If you haven't already learned, the developer community very much believes in giving back, so this would absolutely count as your contribution. And for the sake of our grades and Dr. Maservi's sanity, I guess I have to say that I'm kidding. So moving on, after you've created your instance, you're actually going to SSH into that instance, and then you'll go ahead and install whatever applications and platforms that you would like to use. Amazon has really made this whole process fairly simple, considering the complexity of what you're accomplishing in the background.
So cost is one of the main reasons that businesses want to use Amazon Web Services and cloud services in general. Under the traditional enterprise infrastructure model, businesses were responsible for operating their own data centers, which meant they had to be worried about having electricity coming in from multiple providers to make sure they didn't have power outages. They had to focus on cooling. They had to have special staff that were trained in maintaining their servers, repairing hardware problems, upgrading hard drives, and all that type of thing. So data centers are a huge cost for the business, and Amazon Web Services lets you use their data center, which saves you a lot of money on all of these kind of hidden costs because they're doing all the management for you. So that's pretty attractive for businesses, but it's also really hard for companies to know how much they're going to save in when comparing and investigating going to the cloud. So with EC2, they also offer a bunch of different ways to buy time in their data center. The main and standard way against which the other options are compared is their on-demand pricing model. With on-demand, you pay for compute capacity by the hour, and the price varies depending on the hardware used. You're able to choose from a huge selection of servers, and they're rated different ways to give you an idea of how much they can do. If you look, you can have prices be as low as $0.0065 per hour, and other machines go up to over $60 per hour. As I said, this is the pricing structure against which the others are compared. The other three ways of buying time in Amazon's data center is through spot instances, reserved instances, and dedicated instances. With spot instances, you're able to bid on the spare time that's left after the main clients who are using on-demand. When their systems aren't doing processing, the spot instances kind of kick in and do processing at that time. So you're bidding on spare time, and it's a lot cheaper than on demand, but it's not good for applications that you need high availability. With reserved instances, you can also buy time for a lot less than on demand, but you're locked into a contract. So that's a trade-off that has to be considered. With the last option, dedicated instances, you can kind of choose between both on-demand and reserved, but with the bonus of having your own dedicated physical server. So you can buy on-demand, or you can sign a contract for these dedicated instances. The other driver besides cost is the reliability. Like I said earlier, it's a big problem making sure that your own data center is running well and doesn't have outages. And Amazon kind of takes care of that for you. And they offer an SLA of 99.95%. So this breaks down to every day they try to have 43 seconds of downtime or less, and that's about 22 minutes or less of downtime a month. So if they violate this, they give you a 10% service credit if it's between 99% and 99.95%, or a 30% service credit if it's less than 99%. If it's between 99.95 and 100, you don't get any sort of service credit. When moving to Amazon Web Services, it doesn't take away any tuning issues that you might have. You can have really bad performance on applications in AWS just like in your own data center. You have to make sure that you buy the right hardware for the task that you're using. Otherwise, you can have a bad experience.
So EC2 supports many technologies. We can run Linux, most of the distributions available out there. Windows Server. We can deploy Java, PGP, Python, Ruby, and of course you can run Docker as well. So yeah, EC2 is amazing, and we can run pretty much everything we wanted.
When to use it. So EC2 is infrastructure as a service. You get VM instances and you do with them as you wish. There's a lot more work in configuring, but a lot more versatility. EC2 based hosting is fully under your control. You get a blank server for you to image and configure as you like. The downside is that you need to set up the server, patch it, deal with crashes, downtime, and if you don't have the know-how or time to handle the administrative overhead, there are a few emerging solutions that handle EC2 servers for you, such as Heroku for Ruby, Pagoda Box for PHP, and PHP Fog as well. Note on that is that EC2 is a shared environment in a sense because the servers are all virtual machines, but all server resources have a hard delineation between users. Each user gets a set amount of CPU, memory, disk space, and should be unable to affect other users on the same physical host. Now we're gonna show a quick demo on how to deploy Amazon EC2.
All right, so we're gonna do a quick demo here to see how Amazon EC2 works. So I can just come here to the Amazon Web Services homepage. I will hit this button right here, sign into the console. So right here we have some of the services that I have used. So we're gonna go here, the top of the screen, services, compute, EC2. Go ahead and click this button here, launch instance. We already worked with this in class, Amazon Linux AMI. So let's try something else. Let's try Microsoft Windows Server 2012. Select. This looks fine. Go ahead, reveal, launch. For every instance we launch, we need to create a new key pair, or if you already have one, it's fine, you can use I am gonna use this one here, so just check and launch instance. We'll have some info here, so just click here, and now I have my VM, and this probably will take 2 minutes. There we go. Now we have a Windows VM up and running on cloud. Now if we come here, we can use this credential to connect to my new VM using the remote desktop connection on my local machine. So let's go ahead and connect. Alright, that's our EC2 Windows Server 2012.
Just in conclusion, I'm gonna show you this magic quadrant that shows the leaders and challengers in the cloud computing market. Amazon Web Service is still a leader, followed by Microsoft and Google as one of the visionaries. Amazon Web Service is not going anywhere anytime soon. There's a lot of businesses that use it, and it's too widely spread now, right now. In conclusion, Amazon EC2 is infrastructure as a service, and it has very customizable costs with fractions of cents per hour to $60 per hour. It's compatible with many different technologies and is extremely versatile. So thanks for watching this. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks.